International hockey today. Following up from our Division 1A recap, we're going to talk a bit more about our Division 1A champions. I can't believe I'm saying this. Don't worry about offending me, I'm shocked too. Yes, it's France! Can you believe that? France have won Division 1A and are going to be promoted to the top division in 2027. Mind blowing. Can you get up how they did in Milano? Yeah, so do you want... Yeah, I'll start. Just right. Yeah, okay. Go for it. Yeah. So, if we look back to Milano Cortina, which was only about 2 months ago, France really just underperformed. Yeah, if I remember rightly, didn't they say they were targeting quarterfinals? Did they? Yeah. Yeah, because Plato got a bit miffed about that. Like, why are you targeting that when surely if you're in an Olympic competition, your target should be medals? Yeah, yeah. He got a bit wound up about that. Yeah. But France just didn't play well. No, just didn't really play well at all. Now, you got to remember, of course, France was a replacement team. They were not really supposed to be in there for either side. No, originally Russia was supposed to be in for both the men's and women's, but for obvious reasons got removed, and then France, who were the next highest qualifier, took their place. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that is how it works. Yeah. So I'm just gonna. What do you want? Group standings for France. Okay. So. Right, Bob. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay, right. So. If we look at France, how they did in Milano Cortina, they're in Group B in Milano Cortina. I'm gonna let George remind you who was in that group. Yeah. So alongside France in that group, you had Japan, host Italy, Germany, and Sweden. Yeah. So if we look at how France did in just 4 games in that tournament, they got no wins. They had an overtime loss. That was against Deutschland, which was interesting, because if Germany had won that game in regulation, then Germany would have guaranteed themselves a quarter-final berth. And you wouldn't have had to have gone into that next day. Need to then get the points needed to... Yeah. If Germany had just beaten France outright that day, then Germany and Italy would have locked in their spots, no problem. And you then wouldn't have had the hoo-ha about, oh, well, Japan needs to beat Sweden. We know that was never going to happen. They were just rubbish in that gasket against Sweden. Yeah. No. So they only got 1 point. Now, we just... Yeah. So, look at the goal differential here. So, France only scores 4 goals in Milano Cortina and gives up 13. That is a goal differential of -9. And if we compare that to the other teams across both groups, that, if we have a look, that is the 3rd lowest. They were saved by Switzerland and Finland in group A. Switzerland and Finland in group A had a goal differential of -10. But Finland, you can argue, norovirus. Switzerland, don't know what excuse theirs is. Now, so France had a goal differential of -9. They only scored 4 goals. We flash forward to April in Division 1A. they scored 20 goals. 20! I'm going to get the standings up for Division 1A. 20 goals. They've gone from scoring just four in February in Milano, at the Winter Olympics, to scoring 20 goals in April in Division 1A of the Women's World Championships. And in Division 1A, they faced the likes of Slovakia, Norway, China, Hungary, Italy. Hungary, Italy, Slovakia, China, Norway. That's who they faced. So Italy, they already had an idea of having met them in La Cortina. And the France-Italy game in La Cortina was actually very, very competitive. Yeah, it wasn't until the third period when Italy took control. And, yeah, even when the game against Japan, France did very well. It was the dying minutes when Japan got the game winner. Yeah. So you did look at some of those games in La Cortina and thought, there's promise, but they're nowhere near ready to be competitive. Yeah. And there they are now. They've won Division 1A. They are guaranteed promotion to next year's top division, which will be taking place in Quebec. Got that 3 wins, 1 OT win, 1 OT loss, 20 goals scored, 9 goals conceded. That is a goal differential of plus 11. They've gone from a goal differential of -9 in February to plus 11 in April. Wow. Now, for a team like France, you do look at that and think, right, if you're going to be hosting the Winter Olympics in 4 years' time, you need to get as much international experience under your belt. Now, of course, we know it's far too early to figure out which teams are going to be competing in Nice, but we do know France being there, and chances are you might get teams like Sweden, like Germany, again, in your group. So, you need to really have as much experience as possible in going up against, the top teams. And of course, obviously, top division, the groups are now balanced. That means they're definitely going to see either the US or Canada in their group. It all depends on, how teams will be ranked going into 2027. Yeah. Please don't be against us, because if it's against us, they'll get annihilated. They'll just get annihilated. Yeah. They'll get annihilated. Now, the saving grace for France is the new format. Yeah. So you look at a team like France, and you think, oh yay, good for you, félicitations and all that, but you'll just get relegated this time next year, right? Right? I wouldn't blame people for what they thought that. No. I wouldn't blame people if that's their mindset going into 2027. Is that, they'll just get relegated straight back down because they're not competitive. They can't compete against Sweden. They can't compete against Germany. They've got zero chance against either Canada or the USA. They could potentially take on Switzerland and maybe Czechia. Because obviously Czechia didn't do well against Switzerland. In Milano, no. So they could maybe take points off Czechia and Switzerland. So there's not many teams to top division around and think, France could really get some points from, at least, So I wouldn't blame people if they thought that. But, because the way relegation now works in the top division, there's actually a chance, there's a slight chance that France actually could still stay there come 2028. Which at that point would be the two years to go mark from the Olympics, and all that, So we look at that and think, okay, well, right now, the thing with France, not so good, But we'll see. It's highlighted that France probably will be in the relegation playoff match next year, but who knows, the team they might face might not be as strong enough, and, you never know. So I think that's the only saving grace that France has, is that we've got the new format in play. Now, well, if it's the old format of 2 teams from top division 1A go up, bottom 2 division 1, bottom 2 in the top division go down, you look at France and think, yep, great, you've got promotion, but you're going to go right back down next year. if it's the old division, yeah. If it's the old format for top division, fine, yeah. But because we've got a new format, you have to look at France and think, okay, well, there's a chance they might actually still stay there. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, let's have a look through their tournament, shall we? So their first game was on the 12th of April, and they lost that to Hungary in overtime. It was 3-2. Right, so they get a point there. Good. And then after that, they never looked back. Now, after that, they never lost. Never lost after that. Right. So the 30th of April, they won 4-1 over Norway. Well, that's an easy opponent there. Now on the 50th of April, they defeated Italy in a shootout 3-2. And then on the 17th of April, easy win, 8-1 over China. That's when you saw France really dominant. Yeah. I mean, that would have been a shock result because obviously, France didn't have that much firepower, Milano Cortina. So for them to get 8 goals early one team, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Then in their fire game on the 18th against Slovakia, which kind of ended up being the game that was going to decide who won the group. Yeah. France won that game against Slovakia on the 18th of April, 3-1. Now, of course, obviously cemented their position at the top of the standings, which two of them got promoted to division from Division 1A to the top division. So that is incredible. Yeah, so it's a bit weird how we now know who's joining our division next year before our tournaments even got underway. Yeah. Of course, it's just the way it's going to work. This year, the lower divisions still had theirs in April, and we have ours in November. From next year, all levels will be in November. That just makes it so much easier for everyone. Yeah, just makes it so much easier for everyone. Yeah. But you cannot take us away from the French. I know a lot of people are going to look at that and think, really? France? Yeah. France? Yeah. Really? France are going to be in the same division next year as USA, Canada, Sweden? Really? But it just shows how the international scene is changing. Yeah. The international scene is really stepping up now in development. Yeah. And nations you didn't think could be competitive before are now being competitive. Yeah. They are now getting competitive. They're stepping up to the plate. And you're just seeing the game now on the international stage. You're just seeing it grow. You're just seeing it develop more. And that's what just makes it so exciting now going forward the next few years. Yeah. That just makes it a really exciting time to be involved. So get involved, get on board. You haven't done so. No, come and join us. It's paradise right now. Yeah. In terms of women's hockey. Yeah. So it's just an incredible time to be a part of the game. Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what will happen next year. We've still got to play our tournament first in Denmark. 6th to the 16th of November 2026 is the top division in Denmark. And of course, this year it's all different. We'll explain to you how it will work another time. We're going to explain to you how it will work. We're going to have quite a fair bit of international hockey content coming for you over the summer. Not just because I've still got to do report cards for Milano Cortina, but we're also going to do team previews ahead of Denmark. So that's going to be exciting. We're really looking forward to that. But honestly, France, every time we just saw France results, we're like, yeah, jaw on the floor. Not because we thought France is a crap team, it's just we can't use what we saw in Milano Cortina as the baseline, and you look at Milano Cortina and their performance was not great. No, they were competitive in 2 of the 4 games, but there were signs of promise. But with France, I just looked at France in Milano and thought, right, just use this as experience, ready for your turn at hosting the games in 4 years' time. That is how I saw France to look at Milano Cortina. Yeah, that's how I saw it. Yeah. But it's just incredible what we've seen from France on this past week. Just gone, absolutely, it's incredible, it's unbelievable, and a real proud moment for their country. A real proud, because France is not really a hockey nation. Now, it's not really a hockey nation. So, for a nation like France to have won promotion to top division, but I'm going to look up they've been there before. Yeah. I'm going to look. Yeah, so if you are, yeah. So for a team like France to have got where they are is absolutely incredible. It's something that should be really celebrated. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So George is just going to look up the last time France was the top division. See. That was incredible. And it was just such an incredible tournament as a whole. Yeah, it was a really competitive tournament. You know, it was clear obviously from the get-go who's going to be relegated, but the rest of the field really provided a really freeing tournament. And good for Hungary as well. Yeah, Hungary got close, as did Italy also got close to winning promotion. Yeah, because promotion, yeah. Okay, the last time that France competed in the top division was actually back in 2023. They finished 10th in that year and got relegated right back down to Division 1A. They came 3rd in 2024 in Division 1A, and then last year, 2025, finished 4th in Division 1A. So this is a massive improvement for France. You know, I mean, yeah, this is a massive improvement. They've taken steps in the right direction here, guys. They've taken massive steps going forward. Yeah, so that is it's just incredible to see what France have done. Yeah. You know, in a really short space of time as well. Yeah. To have gone from no hope, no chance in Milano Cortina to, dare we say, Queens of the World in Budapest. Yeah. So that is it's incredible, and I think it'll be interesting to see how France will cope next year. They have the benefit of the fact that the groups in the top division are now balanced, so you should have a better chance to get some points. But I would not be surprised if people go into next year's tournament, look at France and think, yep, you're going back down. You're going right back down. But it's not that straightforward now. It's not that straightforward. In previous years gone by, yes, it was straightforward. The bottom 2 in top division go right down to Division 1A and get replaced by the top 2 in Division 1A. Not how it works this time, right? It's a play. In the top division, we now have a playoff game to determine who gets relegated. So the bottom team in Group A and the bottom team in Group B, they will go head to head in a playoff relegation match to determine who has to go down into Division 1A. That's how it works now. So you might look at France and already think, yep, guaranteed getting relegated. You just don't know. We do not know. So we do not know yet who's going to survive post Denmark. Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. And the Netherlands will be replacing France in Division 1A next year, as Netherlands won promotion from Division 1B to Division 1A. So yeah, that's a good work for the Netherlands there. So we could be looking at an all-European Division 1A next year, depending on what happens in the top division. Because if anybody other than Japan gets relegated, then Division 1A next year will be an all-European division. But obviously, Japan gets relegated, then obviously that'll be the lone wolf. Yeah, we're not confident about Japan. Nope. No. Where they play the Milano team, and for a lot of these teams, when we get to Denmark, for a lot of these teams, we are going to be using their performance in La Cortina as a baseline, yeah, to make our judgment of how we feel going into the tournament. Yeah, yeah. We did it with some of the teams this year. Yeah, using last year's walls. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, when we do team previews, we're always going to use the previous international tournament that they've been in as a baseline for how they've done. So even the two teams that weren't in the local team, we're still going to use what your last international tournament. We're going to use that as a baseline. So we've got a really so for France, when we do their team preview for next year, the road to Quebec, they've got a really good baseline for us to look back on because they were really competitive every single game. Yeah, it wasn't like there was one particular game where France just wasn't. Well, they didn't lose in regulation. Now, France found a way to get points out of every single one of the games. Even in that first game against Hungary, yes, it was an overtime loss, but they still found a way to get points. In the women's game, that's kind of what it is. Obviously you want the regulation win, but if you could find a way to get points out of your games, then that's good too. Yeah, that's good too. Especially in the first half of the PHI, it's fine if you have those overtime shootout wins or losses because you know you've got some points in the bag. Yeah. It's when we get to this time of year, playoffs around the horizon. That's when you start thinking, well, actually, do you know what? It's 3 points or bust now. Yeah. So France brilliantly found ways to get points out of every single one of their games, even that low loss to Hungary. Yeah. On the first day of the tournament, they found a way. They found a way to get at least a point out of that, and that also hampered Hungary because obviously if Hungary had won that game outright, then you would have looked at an undefeated Hungary who would have gone straight back up into the top division, and actually might think they might have a better chance this time around, especially now that the groups are balanced. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think maybe to watch out Hungary next year in Division 1A because I think they're going to be like, oh, we got so close. Because the top 3 teams, France, Hungary, Italy, they're really separated by 1 point. So I think next year teams like Hungary are going to be thinking, oh, we got so close. Yeah. And yet here came the French. Yeah, who would have thought that? Yeah, honestly, I'm still can't believe it. Yeah. If you had to be a betting woman right now, who do you think France would be in the group with over us or Canada? I wouldn't be surprised if it's us. Okay. Would not be surprised that. Because obviously, Austria won Division 1A last year, and we are in the same group as Austria for Denmark. Okay. So I would not be surprised if we are in the same group as France. But then that will depend on if we. I was going to say that's assuming that we will win outright in Denmark. It's probably highlight that France being whoever wins in Denmark probably will be the France's group. So it could be us, but if it's betting one, I'd say us. Okay, and that would then make things very, very awkward, especially on who's got to root for who. But anyway, but for France, this is an incredible achievement. This is an incredible achievement for France, and they should be so proud of themselves. Yeah, take some time to celebrate, party, because we get to next year's World. That is when the hard work's gonna begin, because you're gonna go into next year's top division World Championships in Quebec as the massive underdogs. No one's going to give France a chance. No one's going to think that you've got a chance to do well. Everyone's going to think that you're going to be an automatic relegation. So for France, you've got to really knuckle down, get your heads down, and make the most of what time you got between now and November 2027, when we will be seeing you in Quebec. So you've got to really focus now, guys, because honestly, it's crazy. So obviously, going into summer, I think we were thinking maybe it was going to be Slovakia, or our hearts wanted Italy, but I think our heads were saying Slovakia. But you know, crazy, isn't it? France. No one would have seen that coming. Full stop. Never mind what happened in Milano Cortina. No one would have seen that coming. Full stop. Yet here they are, happily proving us all wrong. Happily, making their way into the top tier next year, which is really good. Really good for them. And we'll see what progress they'll make in Quebec next year. We'll see what progress they'll make next year in Quebec. So just incredible. Absolutely brilliant. So I think that's us done. That is us done. So congratulations to France. We of course will be seeing you in Quebec in the top division next year. But now it's full steam ahead to Denmark. Over the summer months. We're going to do that. Over the summer months, we are going to be getting you ready for Denmark. We will have an episode explaining how the tournament will work. It's a new format. Guys. It's a brand new format this year. It's a brand new format. So we're going to explain how that will work. And then over the summer, Lady will be back to do team previews of all the teams competing in Denmark this year. We'll give you our thoughts on how we think each team could fare heading into the tournament. So that's going to be very exciting. So congratulations to France on winning Division 1A. We will see you in the top division next year. But until next time, guys, take care.